Good morning. Welcome back for Saturday morning coffee. I was laying in bed last night and I was trying to go over some potential topics for this morning. And it kind of popped in my head that I might have been Googling a couple of funny things this week. So I thought we would start there, just going over some of my Google searches. So first up, I just Googled the word moose because I was uncertain about the spelling. I think I was just like really tired in the moment. And we here in Moscow, usually about once a year, there's a couple of moose that will show up on campus, and they'll just kind of lounge around on some of the fields, and they'll eat for a couple days, and then they'll just pass on for the year, right? Well, this year they have been hanging out in front of my apartment complex a lot, and it was actually really cool. We had like a sudden burst rainstorm, and they were sitting in the creek in front of my place, and they got up, and security follows them around campus just to make sure that nothing happens, right? No incidents. And so they get up out of the water. It's like, I don't know, I think it was maybe like 1 o'clock at night, and the headlights are on the moose, and they like do this, like, kind of like a dog shake, and all this water comes off of them, and you can just see all the water droplets in the light that's being shined on them. It was a very cool visual. So anyways, and then I was trying to think about how do you spell moose, whatever, right? And then I also remembered there's a story from when I was a kid. It's like the first time I could remember that we were told we could order dessert at a restaurant. And I was looking at the dessert menu, and then I come across one, and to me, I'm like, okay, I don't know how to pronounce that word, Yeah, I'm just a little kid, right? And I go, can I have the chocolate mouse? And I remember the waitress just staring at me, and I remember mom laughing, and I was like, well, crap. I feel embarrassed. I don't know what I did wrong here. And then they tell me it's pronounced chocolate mousse. And I was like, okay, that's nice. Can I just have that? And please kill me. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I was like 7 or 8. And it was the earliest uh, memory of ordering dessert. Next up, I googled: do deaf people develop regional accents? And because I had just assumed that it was something that you had to like have that hearing element, the audio element, to be able to actually pick up like a regional accent. And it turns out, yes, deaf people do pick up and develop regional accents based on where they grew up. And so it turns out that it is very much something that can be developed without actually hearing it, which I was just totally blown away by. I guess it's like being able to read the lips is kind of a core part of that, and it's what helps people develop that regional accent too. I'm very surprised by this. I was not expecting that at all. So I just thought it was very interesting. Next up, I just Googled the word Nazooks. Now, if you've never heard of Nazooks, they're an Armenian pastry, and they are delightful. I honestly don't know how to explain them, but they are kind of like I don't know, they fit into the palm of your hand. They're a very small pastry. Usually, I've only had them as like when they're like pretty hard. Granted, I've only ever had them made for me by my local grocery chain, and I googled these because I this started in college, where I started buying Nazooks only when I had something like big to celebrate. I would just flat refuse to buy them for anything else, and they were always only meant for that. And and it's kind of just something I've continued throughout my whole life is like, oh, I graduated. Okay, I'm gonna go get some Nizooks. Oh, new job. I'll get some new. I'll go buy some Nizooks, right? And I don't know why or how. There's just honestly no reason for these to have developed to become my kind of like celebration food. But I googled them, and I just wanted to. I knew nothing about them really, and that's when I found out they were Armenian pastry. Sadly, I can't find. As far as I can tell, they are not considered a street food because I was really hoping to make them um, for a street food video. But I think I'm just gonna make them anyways, and they just won't be a part of any of the upcoming series that I have. So, yeah, I'm gonna make them anyways. I think just because I'm celebrating this brand new job, and I'm really excited, and I love Nizooks. So, next up, I googled, "Are you supposed to not eat shrimp tails?" Question mark. And the answer to that is not typically are they eaten in the West, but they are perfectly edible. Try them fried. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And I'm not surprised to hear that it is a part of a food item that is not eaten typically in the West, but is much more common in the East. So, because I all this started because I saw someone on TikTok eating just it was a mukbang video, and their mukbangs are starting to make me as uncomfortable as any other ASMR. And it's weird when they do pop up on my TikTok, but there was a woman eating them, and there was just some hardcore crunch factor, and of course, racism ensued in the comments, and it's so insane to me how much racism is centered around food. It is like finding any non-typical food part that's non-typically eaten food part in the US. If you find a video like that on TikTok, I feel like 9 times out of 10 the comments are just filled with racist shit. It's insane to me that just because you're eating something a little bit different, people will just go off about how disgusting it is, right? And you're saying with your people, and it's of all things, uh, I feel like for racism to center on, I feel like food seems to be one of the biggest ones that I come across of seeing racism. I don't know if I said that right, but I don't know how else to explain it. It reminds me of when I'm still kind of working on an episode about what my family calls Viking dinners, but it's just large shareable plates or food that's kind of just like a communal plate kind of thing. Yeah. And wow, trying to Google that, first of all, very limited details. It's going to be very hard for me to ever finish an actual episode of that, just because there's very limited details online. And then second of all, the blogs you can find where someone wants to like share that their country or regional's food uses large community plates, just racism everywhere. And I'm like, wow, why? I don't. It's insane that food is, oh, you know what? The biggest, easiest example. Go to any Indian street food video. I guarantee you it will be chocked full of racist comments. And or even just thinly veiled racist comments where just like talking about like this must be the only Indian street food vendor who is sanitary or shit like that. It is, and just like, do you realize you're being a little bit racist right there, right? Like, come on. It's nuts. But that is I think that's the greatest example of racism, of food racism on TikTok is Indian street food vendors. It's nuts. Okay. Um. Oh, I also googled TikTok video under review. Uh, and I was wondering, did I do something wrong? Was I reported? Because I've been noticing when I upload videos now that they get put on a review, and and apparently no, it's just a signal that my account is growing, and therefore the review algorithm is currently targeting me and until like I get out of this like middle ground, which is great. So I'm not in trouble, thank God. Um, and then a friend also sent me that after she watched my TikTok, it went, "Hey, is this video appropriate for TikTok?" And I was like, "Huh, interesting." Okay. And the next thing I googled was Congolese street food. It's for an upcoming new series to replace Indiana Jones. I am doing street food from around the world. Um, and Googling Congolese street food, not super easy. You get a lot of Mormon blogs. So I had to kind of sift through the Mormon blogs to get through to get try because I want to try and like find firsthand accounts of like actual street food that people are finding on on the streets, instead of just trusting like a tourist website because I just have this prejudice against tourist websites and touristy things. Um, I just like have a very non-existent layer of trust in what these places say. It's like when you go to any country and you pay for like a food tour, and it's like authentic food tour. You're like, and it's like, okay, this food tour won't take you to McDonald's, but it will take you to like in Mexico, it will take you to the most American version of tacos. They're not going to be super authentic at all. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a really hard time trusting any tour guide in the world to take me to real, genuine, authentic places. I feel like they're going to like, you're American. I'm still just going to take you to that middle ground. So I try not to trust tourist websites, but then that leaves me where? So I know that some of you live in countries other than the United States. So if you would like me to make a street food, or if you could just recommend street food from your country, or countries you've been to, I would really appreciate that. Anyway, back to the episode. That's all I had for Congolese street food. I was just trying to Google some options. Turns out I think I'm going to make beignets. I was really not expecting beignets to be as extremely popular as it is in the Congo. But my other option was like meat skewers, and I have this charcoal grill that I need help figuring out how to make it work. I've done videos, I've done multiple cooking, I've tried to learn it, and I'm going to be honest, all the food that comes off of that grill just tastes like straight charcoal. It's always been ruined, so I don't know. I don't know. I am planning on actually doing a video this summer with an experienced charcoal grillsman, and I'm going to have him teach me everything about how to work a charcoal grill. And that'll be a fun little video. But until then, I ain't touching that. Um, and then, okay, so I had this whole week off, right? Um, of course I did so much cooking videos. Oh my god. And I just feel like our fridge is just stuffed with leftovers from our cooking videos. Um, but I'm very excited to say I caught up on a lot of stuff from like personal areas like with the wedding. Whew, man, I feel a little bit better, but I'm still freaking out because we got like 9 weeks left from today. Um, yeah. That's a lot. And then volunteer work. I am like buttoning stuff up to say goodbye to that almost fully. And then just general existence stuff like plants. I have had some plant starters sitting in water for much longer than is reasonably acceptable. So I finally got those planted, and I gotta say, my like indoor planting shelf thing looks amazing. It looks so much better now that I've gotten these new plants down on there and I reorganized it a little bit. It's looking real good again. Especially after I had like a wave of everything died on me all at once, and it was very, very sad. I was very disappointed in myself. And getting all this done reminded me of a topic idea I wanted to do. And it's like things that just bring me happiness, joy, or like a general sense of like maybe just like deep personal satisfaction. And I've got a couple of things to put here. First up is a completed list. God, do I love a finished checklist or a finished chore list. Just any kind of list in general. I'm like, ooh, yeah, that's good stuff, right? And that includes getting all of the achievements in a video game or Chivo hunting. It gives me just like a real sense of accomplishment when I finish a game. And I love hitting that 100% mark. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then I'm like, I like usually that sadness of like, oh, I beat a game. That sucks. It's not there when I finish a game completely. Like I am totally comfortable hitting delete the game from my hard drive. It just feels so good. And that is why I like to do so much Chivo hunting. And this is where this idea actually came from. I emptied out my email inbox this week during my week off, and let me tell you, there is nothing quite in this world that de-stresses me as an empty email inbox. And it's usually so goddamn hard to actually finish all of your emails because I have so much like ongoing projects or things I'm coordinating with other people or upcoming flights or whatever it may be. Like all of those take in email space, right? And I deleted everything that I did not need to care about. And then I just organized the remaining emails, like upcoming travel and stuff like that, into their individual spaces. So my actual inbox was empty. And I got to tell you, I just sat there and breathed a deep sigh of relief, because if it gets away from me and I end up with like over 100 emails in my inbox, I'm like, it'll constantly be on the back of my mind until it's done, and it stresses me out so much. It's ridiculous. It's so dumb. It's not something at all that should bother me, but I just have this like fear that I'm gonna let someone down or something's gonna slip through my fingers, and I'm impacting somebody else's life by not getting back to their email, right? It's just a whole thing. Okay, this is another one. And early warm spring afternoons. Oh, that just cures all of my life problems. If we get an early spring day and it's warm, you just sit on the porch. Oh, that's the stuff, dude. That would cure any depression. All of my depression. And it's like, oh, especially like sitting out on a porch during a storm with like heavy rain, deep joy, deep happiness and satisfaction with life. There are few things that can compare to like sitting out on your porch during a rainy storm. Oh, I don't need to do nothing except just watch the lightning and watch the rain. So good. Okay, and then my last one that I could think of for this list that just adds a lot of like deep satisfaction and engaging in is playing the same games that I watched my grandpa play when I was a little kid. Now, he died when I was in 5th grade, so I was 11 when he died. And when I was a really young kid, we lived like a 5 minute walk between our houses. It was my house, then the school, then the elementary school field, the elementary school, and one house, and then it was his house. And so my parents could pretty much just stand outside and watch me get there, and so they were able to, and they let us do that. And so we went over, at least I went over to Grandpa and Grandma's house a lot when I was a kid. And then when we started getting older and he got cancer, he moved down to Lewiston, where my family eventually moved down to be closer. Or I think we moved down first. I don't remember. I think we moved down first. He moved down there to be closer to the doctor's office. Well, the house he got to be close to the doctor's office happened to be to share a fence with our elementary school. So when school was out, I just went to Grandpa's house. And I would spend, I'm telling you, I would spend hours and hours watching him play video games. We're never allowed to play with him. Most of these games were not to play for anyways. But I don't know why I loved watching him play these video games so much. But when I tried to play them, it never worked out. It was always a disaster because I was, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we were playing, and he was playing games like Titan's Quest, the first two Diablos, Icewind Dale, games like that were what he played. And so I have, throughout my adult life, tried to play some of these games. I've never been able to finish one. I don't know why. I get so close to the end and then I'm just like, let's just restart, and that's just been my MO for so long. And I guess what it is I think I feel like this like sense of connection almost with him when I play these games, because I remember myself as a child playing these games or trying to play those games sometimes, and mostly just watching him play. And so those games all hold like a very special place in my heart. And he also had a PlayStation 2, and my brother and I have a lot of his PS2 games. Someday I'll go back and play those, but I know games like Icewind Dale and Titan's Quest, and if I could think of some others, I would say them. They're also on Xbox, so I want to go back and play those again too. I've played all of these games every once in a while throughout my adult life, and right now I'm playing Icewind Dale, and I'm just and that's where this is coming from. Is just most recently, having this memory. And so anyway, nice little sentimental way to end this episode. I usually, for my recommendations, when it comes to music, I try to do something a little more obscure and not so commonly listened to, that I really enjoy. But I think for today, I am going to recommend a once very popular song, and that is going to be War by Edwin Starr. So I think maybe that's a song that some of us should go ahead and just listen to, and maybe just take in the words. So that's where I'm going to leave you off. Sunday. No, that is tomorrow. Monday, I will be releasing a Q1 episode, a little bit like behind the scenes sausage talk sort of deal. We're going to be talking about how this year went, or this quarter went, and the changes I'm making for quarter 2. And I think it's going to be actually very interesting, if you're at all interested in the behind the scenes stuff. But we're going to just go over how my content did this semester, and why do I keep saying this semester, this quarter, and what I want to do different is the kind of the big thing. for Monday's episode, but join me because I have a lot of changes and new series to announce for quarter 2 of this year. So with that, I hope you have a great day and enjoy your cup of coffee.